What's up, y'all? You know what I mean? I don't really know how to start no podcast, but I just got a lot to say, so I figure, why not just put it out there? Who cares about viewings and ratings? I hope, really, truthfully, that whatever I say reaches at least one person. Hopefully more than one person, but if it truly affects and changes one person's life, I'm all right with it. You know what I mean? All this money and fame and nobody's saying that it's not worth having and nobody doesn't want it, but it's not everything, that's for sure. It's not the reason to get into this. It's not the reason to do things that you want to do that you have a passion for. I've always had a passion for music, radio, anything where I could do a lot of talking and make money off of it. So I guess in a way, it would be good to have financial gain from it to change my situation a lot, to put me in a different situation, use it as a vehicle to do other things that I want to do in life. Of course, you know, um, I guess just looking for something different in life. 41 years old, trying to make a move, trying to do things different. My name is Nate. Go by Dead Nate, aka DJ. Some other shit. No, just play with you. Just went on a brain freeze right there. MC Offbeat, you know what I mean? Willie P, you know what I mean? I got a few different things I go by because, you know what I mean, I'm a Gemini. Depends on the situation I'm in, you know what I mean? Which person comes out, you know what I mean? I got multiple personalities probably, but I'm definitely not two-faced. That's a very big misconception of a Gemini. Not two-faced at all. Just got a lot of different things going on beside it here, you know what I mean? But back to the topic at hand, just basically, I guess I was on topic, just introducing myself. Let y'all know who I am, trying to give y'all some game, you know what I mean, for free, probably most of it, because most game isn't really to be sold, bro. Most game is not game. Most game is instructions to wisdom that should be passed down. And it's a big misconception that it's game and you're only supposed to be trying to game up the ones you know and the ones you care for. No, you're supposed to game any youngsters that come into your presence. You're supposed to game any child that comes into your presence. You're not supposed to show them, you know what I mean? I'm not going to say certain things because me, I get where I'm coming from. So I'm not going to throw their negative energy towards anything anyone does. You know what I mean? But you shouldn't glorify it in front of the child and show the child that this is a way of living because from experience, children pick up on your bad habits and children run with your bad habits as they become adults. And as they become adults, they take what you've showed them and run with it. And when they run with it, then you hear, well, this generation is wild. It's nothing like when we was kids. And it's far from the truth. That's a pure lie. That's probably a big lie when anybody says that statement. When we were kids, same things were going on. Just wasn't no social media. Matter of fact, I'm willing to bet anybody that your city had more murders in the '80s than it do right now. Outside of a couple cities like Chicago, and I'm willing to bet they probably got less murders than what they had in the '80s and the '90s. You know what I mean? It was the crack era. We came up in a lot worse situations unless y'all forgot. You know what I mean? I heard a lot of people talking about, oh, my kids didn't. That's so far from the truth. It's just not logical to say that these times are so much worse than our times. No, I actually think that our kids nowadays got some kind of head on their future. They like the 60s kids, better yet, put it. So they're willing to stand up against just anything. We took a lot that's 80s babies, 70s babies, 90s babies. We were pretty much a dump site for our parents and any adults that we were around. They felt a certain way. They couldn't get their way in life. You know what I mean? A lot of the times we got whooped because they were angry. You know what I mean? We call it discipline because we learned a lot from it and we got a lot of respect from it. But I think we would have still got a lot of that respect without just getting beat a lot. You know what I mean? We say it's whoopings, but it's beating. It was child abuse. You know what I mean? And tomato, tomato. You know what I mean? A lot of us left scarred, and we pretend that those wasn't our scars, but those are our scars that still haven't healed. So most of us don't even identify with them as scars because we don't see that as a trauma. But being 5 or 6 years old and getting steadily beat constantly because of things that you're doing and not doing, it becomes trauma. You know what I mean? And most of the times it was things you weren't doing or didn't comprehend and understand. You were getting talked to as if you were an adult when you were a child. You know, telling you, well, you know better. No, I don't know better, or I wouldn't be doing it. Exactly. And some of it, yeah, we knew better. We deserved it. Probably most of the ass whoopings. But to be honest with you, majority of the situations didn't involve a level 10 ass whooping that we got. That was the frustration that was already put on their backs that got taken out on us. A lot of the times I identify with that by looking at the situation as me as an adult. I see a lot of people, they do the same thing. They say that they have what they say is what's the word? No no filter, and they're telling stories. People who've been on their job 20 or 30 years have a filter. They don't go to work and cuss people out. They don't talk to people at work the way they talk to people at home. That's a filter. They choose to take everything that's going on outside of their house and bring it home and take it out on their kids, their spouse, etc., etc. That's the way I see it. Maybe I'm wrong, just through my lens and seeing 2020, I see how a lot of kids could mistake that 80s babies at least mistake a lot of that discipline and don't see it as child abuse. And the reason why they kind of don't see it that way literally, but somewhere in their mind they know that it was child abuse because we don't whoop our children the same way as we used to. And it's not because of the law. When we discipline our kids, we let them know that they can call the police still, and it doesn't change anything. We just know that a lot of them level 10 ass whoopings wasn't worth me going to school and talking in class. A talking in class isn't a level 10 ass whooping, at least in my book. I understand that, okay, you got caught talking in class. Maybe the whole class was talking, and that's the one person the teacher called on. Because when she calls other students' parents, they don't care. She knows that you care. That's the only difference. So if he's in a crowd of boys and everybody's talking and he just happens to be the one laughing, you're the only parent that she can call. She's taking her frustrations out the same way. It's a repetitive cycle. I'm saying this because I'm introducing myself, and these are just some of the things that go through my mind, um, of how we could connect dots with talk, with conversation. So, if anyone sees this and disagree or agree, let me know. Let me understand where your mind is, so maybe I could pick apart thoughts and processes of where I might be wrong. Because I'm definitely not 100% right. Shit, not even 50% right, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? I'm very flawed, very, very, very flawed person. Just trying to figure out a way of doing something different and taking my life in a different direction because it takes one person to change himself in order to try to change anyone else. And right now, I'm working on myself, and I'm hoping in the process of me changing myself, I can help other people to at least turn on a light because I'm not gonna help anyone change. That's one thing that I know for sure. I'm not gonna help anyone change, but I could turn on a light so where they could start getting things that God has for them, and they could start seeing things that God has for them. Because God is gonna give them the eyes to see them things, and then they're gonna change themselves. It's that simple. You can't change anyone. You can't help anyone change that doesn't want to change. And even if you're helping them in the process of changing, you're not helping them change. You're not fighting them battles that they're going through every day when you're nowhere around. You're not fighting the battles that they have to do deal with just waking up in the morning. A change is hard. It's not easy. It's because it's become a repetitive cycle of things. It's like an addiction, and we could use drugs as our only addictions, but my biggest addiction is self destruction. My biggest addiction, real life, is self destruction. I get in front of people and don't get my way. And as a child, I figured if I flash and I lash out, then I'm getting the attention I need. But the attention I need usually has dire consequences. And them dire consequences become old, they become tiresome. And hopefully I could reach through to really the youth and so they can understand that there's nothing out here. There's nothing out here. And we're consistently taking everything that our life has been doing to us and putting it on you guys. And it's not fair. It's not fair at all. It's it's really sad. It's very sad because we're not taking accountability for ourselves. We're not taking accountability for the black man's state, the state of the black man. We're not taking accountability for that. Us as the people who are in our 40s and 50s, us who were kids of the crack era, we're not taking accountability for it. We were lost. We were coming fresh off of civil rights. When we were born, when I was born at least, when I was born, I think 12 years, maybe 13 years before that, Martin Luther King was killed. You get what I'm saying? So we were born in an era where the Black Panther Party was just killed off and civil rights movement was just dying. Hippies were just leaving the scene and crack cocaine became the thing to destroy all of that movement. Drugs became a tool to destroy all of that movement. And so we lost a lot of it, the connection, us as the crack baby kids. And we necessarily didn't have to be crack babies. I'm not a crack baby, but I might as well have been a crack baby because I the trauma I suffered didn't go unnoticed, but it went unhelped. It definitely went unhelped. And I'm a product of foster homes and group homes. And it's not enough attention in there, even if they tried. They couldn't reach me, so I could blame it on them, and I don't. But if I wanted to, I could, and still, I have to look at myself. Self accountability, a lot of the things I did was to myself. You know what I mean? I was young and I didn't know any better. I didn't know no difference, so I just moved and I did the things that I did because I was just living. I was trying to figure out a way of life. I think majority of us are trying to figure out some way in our life how we're gonna do something different, probably for 2024. Me, I've been working on mine since July of 2023, so I didn't really need no New Year's resolutions. I feel like every day I'm just trying to be a better version of myself than yesterday. I hear a lot of people saying that, but I'm starting to understand it because I'm very flawed, like I said when I started this. Our biggest problem is that we're not, well, my biggest problem, I'm learning the I statements is, speaking I terms. My biggest problem is that I'm not willing to put anyone else before myself. I'm not willing to understand the real logic of community. I'm not really understanding the real logic of unity. I'm barely becoming understandable to accountability. With that said, I still feel like us as a whole, our community is the same. It's the same. We're lost. And I think right now is our best time because I believe right now, if you think about it, our youth that we so fastly talk about and say these youngsters is quick to do this. What about the parents that they sit in the house with smoking, drinking all day long? It's not that bad because weed ain't a drug, I guess, right? That's what people say. So, what I mean, they don't see that their kids just sit there witness them drink and smoke from the age of 2 until the age that they're 20. And you wonder why your kids don't see nothing wrong with it. Except the music you've been listening to that whole time done changed and they done went into drill music. Our music said the same thing. So what's different, man? Well, mine's did. I listen to Pac. I'm a West Coast guy. I'm a E40 type of guy. I'm a Too Short type of guy. I'm a rapping around type of guy. You know what I mean? I'm that type of dude. I go that far back with rap music. You know what I mean? Forte. You know what I mean? Before old school Mac Dre, not the 2000 Mac Dre. You know what I mean? Um, Be Legit, D Shot, E40, all of them, bro. Sibo. Point of me saying that is the music hasn't changed, culture hasn't changed. Culture's probably more tainted now, if anything, tainted. But that's because of us. It's not because of these youngsters. These youngsters are coming out with this drill music and all this stuff because it sells. Nothing else. Because it sells. If it was like the 20s and 30s, they'll be singing on the corners trying to get a record deal. You get it? Because it sells. Because it sells. That's it. That's all. And we're ready to assassinate every kid who desires to be something besides a broke person. And now we're assassinating their dreams. Like, you shouldn't be a rapper because it's drill music. Well, bro, this is going to make me more money than working at McDonald's, and I got some talent. What you expect me to do? No one else is holding me accountable. No one else is going to give me anything. So I have to go out here and take it. And if I have to take it, I guess I'm going to take this music and run with it. I can understand these youngsters' logic, man, because that was my logic at the time. You know what I mean? 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98. My logic was that. If you don't give it to me, I'm going to take it. If I had social media, maybe I probably would have followed the music industry a little bit harder, but I didn't have that. So I was going to take it. I was going to take whatever I wanted. The reason why I was going to take it, because nobody was going to give it to me. Nobody was going to give a child what a child needed. I didn't have what I needed. And that's no excuse for the things I did. But I didn't have what I need, so I couldn't focus on what I wanted. I couldn't focus on what I should be obtaining in my future. I didn't have what I needed. When I'm talking about food and water, talking about love, the necessity of want, I just wanted to be something. I just wanted to be something. It didn't matter what it was. It's just long as somebody was there to hold my hand and guide me through it. And if that was gang banging and selling dope, then that's just what so happened it had to be. Because no one was there to help me. So I was there to help myself. It's all coming back to the same point, is that we can't look at these youngsters and say that they're doing something different, they're acting different, without holding ourselves accountable. We're at fault. We're at fault. They're not. They're kids. They're learning. They're learning. That's what kids do. They learn. I have people in the background talking. It's not going to stop me from getting this message through, because it's a real message. Our kids are learning. That's it. That's all they're doing is learning. They're not great individuals yet. Even if we have kids who are super famous and have mega success, they're still learning. They still know nothing. They don't know. I used to think people was crazy when they told me that when I was a kid. Now that I'm 41 and I look back, I was like, bro, I thought I knew it all. I didn't know shit. I still know the same exact things I know now. It didn't change. I'm not saying that. I still knew then what I should do and what I shouldn't do. But I chose to do I made a commitment to do what I wanted to do. Simple as that. But what's the difference between the kids now and us? They're learning. Learning. We were learning. We learned from crack era not to smoke crack. Majority of us did a whole lot of crazy things in our lives. But that number one thing we learned was not to smoke crack. We don't smoke methamphetamines because we saw what crack did. Majority of us. I'm saying there was lessons learned through the crack era. We learned that if you find somebody who does do that, shit, You could trust them to come help you fix your car. You could trust them to come get that yard cleaned up for you. You could trust them to even wash your shit if you pay them the right way. You take care of them, they'll take care of you very well. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things we learned through that era. They also taught you respect. That's the difference between us who just smoke weed, as we say, just drank, as we say. We don't pass that same game them crackheads pass down to us. I dare you to tell me a lie. We don't pass that same game that just the crackhead back there passed to us. We're talking about, okay, we didn't come up in that era where everybody could whoop you, but everybody on that block knew you would get your ass caught up if you was on that block doing some shit you was supposed to. Cause a crackhead would check you quick as fuck. And then go tell your mama. They ain't had nothing to lose. Them was the ones who didn't give a fuck. Them was the ones that if you didn't recognize when you was walking home late from school, nothing happened to you because they was watching. If you was coming home or you was walking to school early one morning and you thought something was gonna go wrong, most majority of the time it didn't go wrong because you had a crackhead in your neighborhood who was always on his bicycle, out in the morning, riding around. You thought he was just looking for dope. No, he was protecting the neighborhood. And y'all didn't see it that way. But them crackheads kept a lot of people from coming into the neighborhood stealing kids back then. Reality. That's a cold reality, but it is. That's the difference between our generation and that generation. We're not passing no game down. They was passing some. They wasn't passing all the best influences and all that, but they was passing some game down. We're not passing none. We get on these videos and we do social medias and we talk about other people, other religions, other things that people are doing wrong in order to catch clout, to get some type of clout, in order to say that we're giving back. We got to show on camera that we're doing a food drive. We got to get on here and talk and tell people about how the black man should be doing this and that. And this black man ain't doing it the right way, and I'm showing you how to do it. No, we just should all come together, agree to disagree. I'm not going to agree with like 98% of the stuff no one says because my mind is bloop. I get it. You see what I'm saying? But the difference is most people are not ready to sit down and have them real honest conversations and say the truth. We're failing our youth. We're failing our youth. As we speak, we're failing them. And we're blaming it on them while we're doing it. We're saying that they this, they that, they the third. Look what we allow them to listen to. Look what we listen to and then tell them not to listen to. Come on now. You please dig up some 90s real West Coast rap, real East Coast rap back then. We ain't talking about the mainstream stuff. Some real underground stuff and tell me that they talking about anything different than what we was talking about. If they could actually get on a record and really give you 16 hard bars the way that they know that they could, they'd give you them same 16 hard bars. But the same reason why Jay-Z stopped rapping like Common is the reason why these youngsters ain't rapping like us. It ain't making no money. You blame it on them if you want to. Keep blaming it on them without us taking the responsibility for it. It's that simple. When you hear somebody who's actually talking truth on the record, and you hear all the good stuff that they're saying, how many friends do you call like, hey y'all, let's go stream this. Let's go do this because we ain't buying CDs. So let's go stream this. Let's make sure that we get this dude a million views. No one's doing that. They pass it around on Facebook for free. You get what I'm saying? Listen to him. This hot right here. Everybody passed around this hot. They became woke for the day, and then the next day they posted the same garbage. It's the same truth. We're failing us. I didn't even know the purpose of my introduction of this video, but I guess that's what my introduction is. We're failing us. Why are we failing us? Because we won't even be here probably to see the next generation of kids, black kids, if they're still in America and it's still an America and we're still free the way we are and it hasn't went to war and the shit hasn't really went to shit If they're still in America, our black kids are gonna rule this motherfucker. That I give you my word on. The generation after this one will rule. Your kids are gonna take over this place. Watch and see. We're steady killing us in the media, and we're steady killing us in social media, talking about how we're this, we're that, we're so lost, we're new to freedom. Let's say what it is. We're new to freedom. We've only been free since what, 69, 1969, 68? 1962 was the year that they put something on paper and said it. But 69, I think it is. I think Kennedy put that on paper. Because if you're able to get hung, if you have to go to a black bathroom and they have white bathrooms, if you have to go to a colored school that's not giving you a good education, you're not free. So for them to say we were free in 1865 is a lie. And for us to feed us that is a lie. We're new to freedom. We're doing damn good as black people. We just have to be able to teach this generation that's coming up not to do what their parents are doing right now. Killing each other the same way we were killing each other. Because we could lie and sit back and say we weren't, but we were. And I understand there's people who wasn't in the game and who wasn't gang banging. I'm not talking to y'all, bro. You know I'm not talking to y'all. Don't get on here and say I wasn't doing that. I know you was in school. You was doing all that until you graduated. Then you started doing this right here, smoking weed and drinking it. That's why you didn't remember that. That's why it's so easy for you to sit back and be like, well, these kids, we was just going to school. Yeah, you was. But when you came adults, you became nothing. And your kids became what? Come on now. Let's tell truths. Self-accountability. I'm 41 years old. I have nothing. Sitting here on a social media site trying to tell somebody the truth about life. But the truth is, one thing I've learned about life is anybody can get on here and tell a million stories and have about 10 people who could back it up. And it still sounds like lies. It's the truth. Because at the end of the day, you can't talk about what you did when you was 15 and 16 years old and nobody really believe it. Why is that? Because you're embellishing, bro. You're not telling it word for word. You're not telling everything how it was because everybody's a victim in their own story or a hero. You know what I mean? Nobody's telling 100% truth ever. But the one thing that is truth right now is we're failing us. We're failing our children. We're failing generations that should be coming behind us and learn how to be wealthy. We should learn how to put a lot of stuff together on our own. We're worried about getting loans from banks still. When we got enough money as black people to generate our own. And we're still trying to get loans from banks that ain't giving them to us. We're still trying to build Black Wall Street back up. Finally, we got a young black man who got enough money who really wants to influence it. How many of y'all really paying attention and gonna follow him though? How many of y'all gonna put up y'all nickels and dimes, your pennies, and help him, the millionaire, the young brother who about to be a billionaire if it work out? And y'all gonna hate that. Y'all gonna say, well, he probably with a white girl. Who gives a fuck? Y'all probably gonna say, oh, well, he did this. He broke the law in this way. Let's counsel him. He said, oh, well, something about a gay person. Let's counsel him. Really? Is they counseling anybody else who's saying all this shit? No, they just counseling us and we allowing it because we're the ones counseling us. No one else is really getting counseled. Roseanne didn't really get counseled, bro. You think her money ain't still in that show? That's still Connor's still popping off? You think her money still ain't coming? She ain't get counseled. She got put off TV. That's not counsel. Give me my money and don't let me go sit at home. That's not counsel. Come on now. We're not counseling them. We're counseling us, though. Because when we counsel us, we take money out of our pockets. Look at us when we counsel Cosby. They took Cosby off TV. I was mad as hell for 4 years, getting emotional. But yeah, that's us. That's what we do. We assassinate us. We kill us in the media. We kill us right in front of each other's face.